You're an educator in all areas of health, and I know you educate to universities, and you're an advisor for the U.S. Army in certain areas, and so you know this field very well.
Yes.
And I know one of the areas that I'm really fascinated about is epigenetics. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. Well, epigenetics is becoming quite a popular term, and I guess the true definition of epigenetics refers to the Greek word epi, which means on or above or around.
Yeah.
And so epigenetics meaning external influences to the genes or things that act upon gene expression is really the true definition of epigenetics. And so it considers a lot of different things, such as the foods that you eat, the exercise that you do, the certain lifestyle factors that you lead, excuse me, and lots of different stimulus, even the social interactions that you have, and many other things.
So all these things, I mean, because we're taught, I mean, people think, well, I have these genes, mom has diabetes, I'm going to have diabetes, if dad has cardiovascular issues, well, I'm going to have cardiovascular issues. I mean, we always think that we're almost a little doomed based upon the genes that we're getting. So with epigenetic, you're saying that you can then, all these factors are actually acting on your genes and then creating changes within your genetic structure.
Right, and so a lot of the very large explosion in personal genomics in the last sort of 5 or 10 years has really offered us a lot of insight as to the risk or the potential or the predisposition for diseases like heart disease, like breast cancer, which is more popular in the media.
Yes.
But the epigenetics really offers us a lot of insight into the environmental lifestyle factors that can really affect the way our genes are expressed, which is the genotype expressed is the phenotype, which is really who you are looking right now.
Yes.
When you look in the mirror, colour of your eyes, the texture of your skin, length of your legs, circumference of the waist, that's all your phenotype. And so it's really important to understand that there's so much that affects the way that the genes are expressed, which means that you actually have the ability to change who you are right now, and it can positively or negatively influence your health.
And one of the factors that we have a lot of control over, obviously, is what we eat.
Yes.
And so how we're eating then can then impact, obviously, our health, and we can empower ourselves through what we eat.
Right. Well, I guess the saying, you are what you eat, certainly rings true to a certain extent. And we spend a lot of time looking in the nutrigenomics field, which is more specifically focused on how food affects your gene expression. And there's some really amazing insights, and what we're really finding with the studies in epigenetics is that everyone is extremely unique. You're very different to the person sitting next to you on the bus, or your neighbour at work, your friend's family. And so it's really important to be able to understand and identify the foods that are right for you, not just for your genes, but also based on your epigenetics, which includes a lot of things such as if you live in the Antarctica versus in the desert, the nutritional requirements are going to be different. If you're 20 or if you're 60, the nutritional requirements are going to be different. So there's, if you're stressed, if you're not stressed, if you're taller, if you're shorter, there's a lot of different other things that affect who you are and what you need.
Okay, and that impacts what kind of food we're supposed to be eating.
Right, and so with, I guess, a lot of the insights you can get from epigenetics, you can really get a good understanding of what's right for you, and that's really the power that epigenetics brings, is understanding what's right for you compared to what's right for me, which correlated with genetics is very, very powerful.
So if we would have kind of like a generalized example of a person, his name is John Doe.
John Doe.
I know people are very unfamiliar with him.
Sure. I'll give you even more specific. Let's pick Jane Doe. So let's say Jane Doe is quite tall in stature. She has red hair and fair skin. She'll have, because of her genetics in chromosome 4, she's going to probably have a high level of oxalic acid, and so it's important for Jane Doe to be avoiding too many things, foods such as tomatoes, which will increase those, because if she increases those levels, she's going to be at high risk of skin melanoma. And so for Jane Doe, we would suggest to her that she shouldn't be eating tomatoes, whereas that kind of goes a little bit against the current line of thinking.
Absolutely,
of tomatoes are healthy.
Lycopene, you're thinking all these different
lots of different goodness which tomatoes have for so many people. But for our example of Jane Doe, tomatoes would be a really bad choice for her. And so epigenetics really offering that insight as to how personalised we are and how unique everything is can really help us make a big difference in controlling our own health and our own futures.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah, what I mean, what I really like about epigenetics, as I'm mentioning, is that it's an empowering tool.
Yes.
Meaning that we're not doomed just because of where we're coming from. We can change it based on what we're eating. We can change it based on what kind of environment that we surround ourselves with. We can change it by maybe supporting the elimination of toxins that are impacting our genetic pool, and so forth. So.
Yeah. And I guess one of the big factors is it allows people to take a lot more ownership of their health, as you say, and ownership really comes down to the knowledge and the power that people have, plus the accountability and the responsibility they take for their own health. And so to be able to help people understand the knowledge that they can find out due to some tools that are available today, that they can find out a lot more about their epigenetics and their actual trajectory, and then can actually take that information that's very chunkable and very easy to digest and empower themselves, or be empowered to actually change their future, take responsibility and accountability for their health, and determine a healthy outcome for themselves.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you.